Hello, everybody. It is Cody here from Rasslin Rage and MIW, one third of, I should say. Tonight, I am joined by the 2021 Indie Idol himself, the champion, one AVZ. And the other gentleman I'm joined by, everybody knows as their favorite MC. That is right, Johnny Delicious, the one and only. Hello and welcome to 2022 Indie Idol. Thank you for joining me, both of you.
Cody, I appreciate it, man. The one and only MC in the state of Michigan.
That's right, for sure.
I'm here. Let's make this happen.
That's
the legend.
It's the legend. AVZ.
The legend.
You are the 2021 Indie Idol, right? The
yeah.
inaugural, the very first. Give me.
Yes.
So we set, but with us as the judges, we set up 4 things that we're looking for in these promos. Creativity, context, emotion, and character. Okay, so we're gonna start it out. We're gonna start it off with Tony Garrix versus Davison Sarai.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cool.
So Davison is a legit psychologist, what we call it, or I don't know how do you say it the right way. She's a lot of things. She's got a lot of little letters after her name.
I think she's a legit therapist, like a shoot therapist in life.
Yeah. Okay.
So that played a huge role into what I saw.
Right. I think they did a very good job with their character. That's something I wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them very well with their character. You know, Tony Garrix, the turning around with the alcohol and
loved it,
letting us know, right? And he didn't put her down for being what she was, but he did say, "Hey, I'm just going to beat everybody too." Any takeaways from it, ABZ?
Oh yes, I actually have quite a bit of notes for pretty much everyone. I'm going to start with a positive for both. So I loved that Captain Tony. It's like really cool. He's a vet, and it was Fat Tony for a long time. Switching over to Captain Tony, there's so much to do with that, and this felt like kind of like an old school promo, where he was very in character. He put Davison over quite a bit at the beginning, which you love to see. He stayed in character the whole time. There was a point where he said, well, you see, or but you see. He said that twice, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if that was like, but you see, because he went into talking about the 7 C's right after that. So I'm like, but you see, if it's SEA, if he was talking about perhaps, if that was like, you know, a little artistic work there. I thought it was very, very good. I thought that he showed why he was a veteran. I really liked it. And for Davison, she was very verbose. The wordplay was excellent. This was probably my favorite promo, to be totally honest with you, of everyone. I knew I was going to be impressed. I didn't think I was going to be this impressed. I thought the mood was great. I thought that the way she talked, she kept a cadence that like not only a therapist would have, but she kept kind of the mood and used her body language and the music and the black and gray to create a feel, but then used the literal words itself and alliteration through the way she spoke in order to deliver her punchlines. She waited on every beat. She waited for the exact right amount of time. Every time she made a point, stopped, let it sit. She didn't say for a second too long on anything. She didn't go for a second too fast on anything. She was so comfortable. It was actually kind of crazy, to be honest. The only thing I would say that I wanted to see a little bit more of maybe down the line is talking about maybe how you plan to beat your opponent in the ring per se, since like Captain Tony is like, a much bigger, he is a vet, etc. But man, I loved this promo. I love both of them, really.
And Johnny Delicious, to you.
All right. Well, Alex is starting off hot with all of this, so let's go more into cooling off with that. I feel like I agree with a lot of what you said. I feel though the creativity on both of them wasn't as high as I wanted it to be. With Tony Garrix, his gimmick is his gimmick, and his character, he protrudes that character all the time, right? Like when he's in the ring, whenever you see him in this video, especially, like you see the drunken sailor, and he's got his dog in the background. It was great. But when it really comes down to the creativity aspect of it, it was what I've seen all the time, right? And maybe I was expecting way more out of it for somebody that has been around as long as he has. I wanted to see a little bit more out of that aspect of it. Context, though, I will give him the context of the way he spoke, the way he kept his wording to his gimmick, and what he spoke about and how he was going to do the things, but like to win, but he kept it as a sailor, right? Like he kept it as a drunken sailor, talking about coming into port, talking about doing all that kind of stuff. The way he brought that, I definitely feel was awesome. Again, emotion though, it's one of our categories. Like I didn't feel much emotion out of that promo. I felt like it was, do I want to go see this match? Man, if it's a a second or third or popcorn match, I'd watch it. I wouldn't be glued to my seat to make sure I see it, right? Davison blew me away with the way that she used her words, her profession, her lifestyle, and everything, and continued that with Tony as well, right? So she was using that terminology. She related to him, and she was like, hey, I understand you, but I'm also, in a way, it was like, I'm better than you, right? She admitted everything, but was still, and just like Tony did, they both put each other over huge. But Davison was like, yes, you have this, but I am still better than you, right? Mm-hmm. The character-wise on both of them, because I have no idea about Davison, to be honest with you. Maybe met him once, but the character, like, you say you are this, and you gave me everything I needed to know that you were this. Now, same thing for Davison. I feel there was no emotion there. I could care less if I saw this match at a show. If I was there, I was there. But that's my put on it. I just need more emotion out of these two, and I want to be able to see, like, do I want to see Tony get his face kicked in? Do I want to see Davison get beat? Like, where is that emotion for those two for that match?
Right. See, and this is why you were picked to do this, because you are going to see way more things than I'm going to see.
Oh yeah.
Or I wouldn't say picked. You were asked, right? You were asked. Because
originally, I almost gave up that spot too.
Right. Yeah. You originally said, I can't do
glad
it.
You didn't.
Right. But hey, it is what it is. Now I'm gonna go. I scored really. I'm listening to you guys, and I was, we were talking a little bit before. I'm like, man, maybe I was a little harsh, because I'm listening to how you guys scored, and see, I come from a martial arts background, and when we were doing tournaments for GUPS, right, and you got the scale of 1 to 10, GUPS are 1 to 5. And then, black belts are 5 to 7, right? So I was that's how I went. So in this round, I gave Davison, and so you guys probably scored higher than I did, but I gave Davison a total of 25, and she ended up winning over Tony with a 21 in mine. So 25 to 21 in mine. I don't have a pen. I just noticed that.
You should probably get one of those, man.
Yeah.
When you're going by points, if you want to go by points wise, Davison did win on mine, but only by 1 point. Davison took it 25 to 24.
Oh, well, at least
I am very clearly. Yeah. Wow. I'm definitely going to be the Paul Abdul here. I definitely was the nicest of everyone. Everyone has much higher point totals on my my sheet, but I also had Davison winning. I had her winning by 2.5. I gave her a 36.5 over the 34 for Captain Tony. These were actually some of the higher grades that I actually kind of gave. And as you said, emotion, that was where both of them lost points for me. Yeah, they both got dinged on emotion.
Yep. Same.
But they both, I thought, killed their characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like great job on character.
100% character. I'll even give them both context. Like I said, both of them had that context that was there. Emotion is what they both hit with, and I gave some creativity more to Davison. No, they tied creativity. I apologize. But yeah, it's just that I gave a little bit more in character to Davison just because I didn't know anything about Davison and I found out exactly what I needed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so I'm back with the pen. I don't know how I forgot a pen, but hey, it is what it is. So I believe that we have determined that Davison Sarai is 1-0 at this point in the competition.
Mr. Delicious.
Yes, indeed.
And I talked about something over the break really quick that we would both like to say for Davison. We both would like to see you bring that crazy out. I know that like you're that calm, cool demeanor. It's like I know that switch is gonna flip, bang. And I want to see that. Like levels are a big deal for me. Like I want to see like that level of intensity go up. Like and that's what I'm looking to see maybe going forward. And I know that you
I want to see
the
the character evolve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see this character evolve.
All right, now moving on to the next one I have here is Billy Ray Daniels versus Solomon Stone. Okay.
All right.
So there's not a lot to go on from like BRD's pro. You know, I don't get a lot from the promo. Like I get that he called. You know, he's Solomon Stone is the you know from Grand Haven. You know, and there's a few tidbits, but there's not a lot of context. Right? It's just this guy, and that's it to me. Really, I didn't hear a lot there. And then I feel like Solomon really delivered his message. You know, you can tell Solomon knew who Billy Ray Daniels was. You know what I'm saying? He knew who he was, and he was playing off of that. Okay? Where I don't really feel like Billy Ray knew who Solomon was, in my opinion. Right? What do you say there, Mr. Johnny Delicious?
I would agree. I feel like Billy Ray was still like Billy Ray is that's his character, right? Like the drunk, you know, doing whatever he's doing. He's got his whiskey and everything, waiting for it. He was waiting for a fight, right? Like he wasn't going to get that fight. It was the whole like I'm just gonna chill and wait for you, right? I feel like if he would have been more of I'm coming after you to kick you in the face versus I'm gonna wait for you to come see me, he would have definitely taken this promo. Creativity wise, it was him in his backyard. I think the creativity of his first promo, his introduction promo, was way better. I laughed at it, right? Like I was like, oh, it's this guy, you know, doing that. Context, you're right. I don't feel it was there. I feel that he could have had a lot more, and I felt a little rushed with his promo. Like it felt short, right? Like it just fell a little bit short. Solomon Stone definitely delivered. And he was ready for who he had. He was telling you what he was going to do and why he was going to do it. Right. And I feel that really brought that. And I wanted to see him actually go find Billy at that point and be like, there it is. Right. Like, that's what I wanted to see. So he brought the emotion out. Like I wanted to see it happen.
Right.
I actually agree with you 150% there, Mr. Delicious. I absolutely agree. Billy Ray Daniels is a vet. He knows his character inside and out. I thought that like it did feel a little bit phony compared to like what his intro promo was. And Solomon Stone, like he's so smooth. He's a smooth customer. He knew where he was going. The levels changed. The beats were right on point. He was like comedic without making himself look weak. Like he looked strong while staying comedic. I think that was really good. I think he's going to be one of the toughest guys to beat down the stretch in this one.
I totally believed exactly who he is. Like right there.
Yes.
Like I'm like that guy lives like that. That's how he is all the time, right? You know what I mean? That's how I feel right now.
Oozing confidence. He was oozing confidence. Yeah. He always does.
Yeah.
Man, I came into this expecting him to be very strong and confident, and he does this all the time. So, you know, like he delivered. He absolutely delivered in this.
Yeah. Well,
definitely a standout for me in this one. I would have to say so. You know, and yes, you believe him. I believe Billy Ray. Don't get me wrong. I believe Billy Ray likes to sit in his lawn and drink beer and drink whiskey, but I believed Solomon was going to go find this guy and kick his head off.
Right, yeah. And,
Oh, yeah.
And with that, I gave Solomon a higher score overall in this round, and he would go, in my book, he defeats Billy Ray by points.
Cool. I agree.
And Solomon, he gets him on everything, really. They tie basically in emotion, but everything else, he beats it. Solomon's got him.
One thing, I mean, with Solomon, I would like to throw in there, man, like for future, and it's just, I've seen what he can do, and I want to see more of it.
Absolutely.
So
I agree with that 100%. I actually had Solomon giving me more emotion. I had him winning there. I had them relatively close in character because I did think that Billy Ray did kind of, I think that's what he did the best, was show his character. But at the end of the day, Solomon Stone does win on points. I gave him 34.5 to 31.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so it was 24-22 is with Solomon going on.
I had 24-22 as well with Solomon going on.
See, I feel pretty good about myself right now. So we got.
Hey, and like I said, with that, it comes from Solomon. Like, I expected a little more creativity out of the promo. I expected to see a little bit more. I've seen what he's done before,
Right.
and I've seen that stuff, and that's really where he lost me a little bit.
Yeah.
Same with Billy Ray. I think that was a huge hit for him, and then the emotion with Billy Ray too.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the saucy boy, he calls himself, right? Josh Morris and TJ Meyer, which last year TJ was in the tournament. He did a no talkie, one of those promos, and he didn't move on to the next round. This year's different. This year was the first year that he talked, so that's cool. The one thing I got to give I don't do a lot of critiques but the music is a little bit too loud in TJ Meyer's promo. It needs to come down just a notch, man, because I'm more focused on the music than I am what you're saying, because I can't hear. And maybe I am deaf a little bit, but still I felt like the music was up a little too much, man. Other than that, that's, but I really did like the promos. I feel like, I don't know if Josh is taking this as serious as I think he should be, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe give me another round, because this is the first round, but that's just me. ABZ, what do you got?
All right, I got quite a bit for these two. Let's start with TJ. I know both of these guys pretty well, and I know what they've been. I know what they've been doing, like on the mic, and I know what they delivered. And TJ, it feels like night and day. He's come so far from where I think he was, at least comfortability with the character wise. It felt much more natural than some of his promos of the past. But there were a few moments where it started to break a little bit, and so he has like a quiet charisma, and in a world like. There are a lot of characters that are like larger than life type characters. And I feel like TJ, he speaks quietly and he carries a big stick quite literally with his character. And his character is a little bit more relatable and grounded. And that earnest, honest, way he was delivering it for a lot of this promo was there. There were a couple of moments where he would stumble a little. And when he would, which is fine, you can do that. There's no problem. I'm not going to pay you too much for that. But when he did, he noticed. He noticed it. He stopped for a second and then moved on. And I think I can relate this to him, for him, something that when you're in the ring, sometimes it's only a botch if you make it, the little ones, oh, you didn't know you were supposed to step here, but the fans don't know that or whatever. Don't get hung up on the little mistake there. Don't let that break your flow, because you were flowing at parts of this. You were really flowing at parts. And, as long as it just stays more fluid, I think it's going to be great, and just keep that natural feel. And as time goes on, I think that your character is really going to progress with this. I think you're onto something with this, as opposed to before. I think this is a lot better, a lot more grounded. And you're making me feel a little bit more. As far as, Josh goes, I was disappointed. And of course I was going to be disappointed. I know what he can do. But I will say this: he listened to some critiques he's gotten in the past that I've heard him get, which were when you start out at a 10, there's nowhere else to go. He did not do that this time. He didn't start out like exploding, going crazy, but like it looked like he filmed it in his living room. He really didn't give it that much effort, which is kind of weird for me because it's like he's a very active performer. Like I felt he could have done it better like at a show in the back, to be totally honest with you, with Dobson there or whatnot. But I like what he was trying to go for with fuck the rules type situation. But at points during this, I wasn't sure if he was trying to cut the promo on you, Cody, or if he was trying to cut the promo on TJ. So that was kind of my struggle with this one. And I know that Josh he's a larger than life character. We didn't get to see that, and sometimes that larger than life character, especially for him, sometimes might feel harder to translate to a video promo where you're going in cold. As where I think that it translates very strongly when he's live because he comes out with the entrance and everything, and everyone's already hyped up and they're ready. Like that already primed everyone for what they're about to see. And sometimes it's easy to coast on that. And he has a great presence and uses presence to deliver his annoying heel style. But like with that gone, it's just annoying sometimes. And I wanted to like the more you can play around with that, the stronger it'll be. For this one, I was disappointed though.
Right.
With Josh Morris.
Harsh.
I know what he can do. That's
Right.
why I know what he can do.
So Johnny Delicious.
Oh man. So we talked earlier about my tie, right?
Oh,
all
here
my
it
matches.
is.
This is my tie. Here's why. I've heard a lot about Josh. I've heard the buzz about Josh. I've heard his like rapping. I've heard about everything else that he does and like how he can draw the crowd in, like AVZ said, like the crowd's already hype. He can make them hyper. Even when he does start off at a 10, he knows how to go higher than a 10. With this though, he started at, again, I would say you're right. He started pretty high. And he just didn't stop, and I lost him. There was like words were gone, and he's yelling, and then he starts calling on Cody. And I get it, like if that's what you're doing, but when I hear about this new upcoming kid that's hot on the stick, and he wants to rap, and like he has this hype man behind him, like I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting the hype man with him too, right? Like I was expecting it would have been part of it as long as the hype man was just doing the hype man stuff. As an MC, you got to keep that crowd into it. And all he did was like yell at you about random things. It was on Cody, it was on TJ. And so I will say this, the creativity was out the window for me. He took a 1 on creativity. Like just, he tanked the creativity. I would have liked to have seen a lot more. Context, he lost me because he was splitting between the two of you. I didn't see his character, right? Like it was low. But I will tell you this, the emotion that I had going into that video, after I watched that video, I prayed TJ would have just come and beat the living hell out of this kid. He is the epitome of the kid that I just did not want to see in a wrestling ring. And I want to see TJ take that crowbar and bust it upside of his head. So he actually scored really high on the emotion aspect for me. Now, TJ, I've seen TJ go through. I watched last season, all of this. I was a little disappointed in this one. You're right, the music was a little high, but I could get past that. TJ is trying to deliver a Jake Roberts-esque promo where he starts and he wants you to be in there. He wants you to hear what he's saying, and he is going to snap eventually. We talked about like Davison snapping, but TJ is going to eventually snap, and you know it's going to happen. He stuck to character. The emotion was there. The stumbling from my end got me a little bit because we have the ability to do retakes and stuff like this. Not everybody is a one take type of person. Not everybody's a cut type of person. Like you don't want to cut and edit and stuff, but that's cool. But I did tie these two for the simple fact that this promo looked exactly like TJ's last introduction promo. Looks and everything. It was just, I honestly thought I clicked the same promo. So creativity wise on that one is where he lost it, and that's why they tied.
Well, so it sounds like it's up to you and I, AVZ, to make the decision because I scored TJ, and I scored it at a 25-24 with TJ taking the win by 1 point.
Okay. I scored this, and Johnny, I also did ping him hard on creativity and context, and I think the difference in scoring here is going to be that, like, if you get a 5 from me on something that's like an F, I did it more like a C. 7 is average, so like there's going to be a little bit of difference in the creativity there, but so yeah, I went the same route. So I gave TJ 29, and it ended with Josh Morris getting 27 for me. TJ takes it.
So TJ
All right.
Meyer moves on. Well, they all move on, but he's
Right.
going into the winners.
He takes the W.
Takes the W's. Now, this one was another 1 point difference for me. And this was really hard, but this is why I love this promo contest. Man, Mark Ross and Forever Young. Okay. Oh, God, I love Mark Ross. Let me tell you.
All right, first off, I want to know. No, hold on, Cody.
Yes.
These were random picks, right?
Yes.
This is why I hate this contest and did not want to do this contest. All right. Because I knew things like this were going to happen first round. Okay. I'm stealing this one from you before you get to talk, right?
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
This could have been the main event, right? Like, not discrediting anybody else, but like what these two did in their first round was it's going to be hard to top, right? Forever Young, Princeton came out and he stuck to his character and he's got it. Like, I literally thought I was watching a YouTube star. Like, I thought I was watching a YouTube video. His character is there. His context is there. He's got the flashing videos of him winning contests and all that kind of stuff. And all of that was there, the creativity. And I have to give him the creativity because he had the awards and the belt, all that kind of stuff. He was there and he spoke about it, and I wanted to see it. But then Mark comes in, man, and I've never seen this out of Mark. All right. I was like, I saw the opening to this, and I'm sitting there with, like, my jaw is dropped, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, this isn't him. Like, what's going on? But the music, Forever Young playing in the background, I was like, holy hell. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's got it. And he's the way he's talking as that character. And I get it was just like, it's a vignette, right? It's him playing the character. But when he hit to Mr. 401k from the announcer to that, dude, he just, I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Right.
I want to see these two fight. I want to see them go at it. I want to see them talk more. I want to see both of them more. They both get the emotion out of me. When it came down to it, Mark did take it. I will give it that. The whole thing in general is what I wanted to see, right? Like, I'm picturing old school, like 80s, 90s vignettes. That's what I got out of him. I get it. Princeton's doing that modern day thing, but like, Mark took it by a few points, and that's just because of, I'm going to have to say it, the context and the creativity that Mark put into it, put it over the top.
Yeah.
All right.
But don't do this to me again.
Oh yeah, no. For this one, for me, this was crazy. This was like, I watched these over and over and over because this was beautiful. This was like a main event. It was absolutely fantastic. And so something I actually want to talk about with Mark's promo that I noticed was that he never looks directly into the camera until at a specific moment. He in the end game, he says, "Eyes on me," and then looks at the camera for the first time, the whole promo right there. And then there's Forever Young, who, like, he was such an annoying twerp throughout. He's just getting more and more frustrating, and you see it, and just like, you're like, I felt like I was watching a YouTube video. Like, I felt like that character was like real. I'm like, and I know that Forever Young does have a YouTube background, and the character is real. and his video editing skills are real. So like I felt it the whole way through with that. One thing I liked about Forever Young's that kind of gave me an edge for him in this area was that I felt like he did more research and he told me more about the both of them. The thing that I thought that Mark had on him was definitely the creativity. This was like everything from the music to the beats to the moment. The way he speaks, his cadence is like he's delivering poetry, and he doesn't turn up the intensity of his like voice. He like changes the bars, and that was really cool to see. But Forever Young at the same time, I thought this was so close. I really couldn't call it. The thing that really made me the decision I decided to make was that had I never seen either of these two ever before, ever, who do I understand more about after the promo was over? And that was what it came down to. And I know I said Davison got the highest grade, but that she wasn't the only one to get that grade. So.
So
who do you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You
have to say it.
I have to say it now. I actually gave it to Forever Young 36.5 to 36.
Nice. All right.
Well, I gave it to Mark Ross 29 to 28.
Okay, so why? Now I need to know why.
Why did I give it to Mark?
Yes, Cody. Give me the full blown reason why.
Yes.
Because now I'm looking at it from your aspect of it as you report pro wrestling, but you're also a larger fan of pro wrestling than most people I know.
Right.
So where does this come from?
So I see, first of all, the whole thing with him coming in and he's doing a sermon, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like a little sermon, and he's giving us some info. And it's serious, but at the same time, it's funny. Because he comes in with the little rascals and the Predator.
I was dying.
And that's where it got me right there. And I'm like, oh my man, I'm laughing. And then I thought it was over. And there's more. Right? And then he comes in, and then it's 401k. And he gives you the business. He's like, I'm this guy. I do this. I work. And I related to that. I'm a working man. I get it. I understand. I relate to that promo the most. I have a YouTube channel too, but I don't have all those editing skills that guy's got. So, but that's why I gave it to Mark.
And that's what I want to hear. And that's where this comes into play. Like I said, this is where I was like, whoever picked these knew this was going to happen or whatever it might be. And this should have been the main event. This could have been. I shouldn't say should have been. Yeah. This could have been the main event anywhere. But we got it first round, and I'm totally okay with it.
Right.
It was beautiful. So, it was a great match.
So I'm going with Mark.
Oh man. Cool. All right. So
winner by split decision. Love it.
Mark. All right.
Mark it is.
All right.
And this one had to go split decision, right? For a match that good, like I'm glad it was a split decision. You know what I mean? Like it was so good.
Right. So we only have 4 more matches, so we're halfway there. We're at intermission. Now, Fletch Malone, unfortunately, was originally paired up with, well, not unfortunately, but he was originally paired up with Derek Wolf. Unfortunately, Derek Wolf had to pull out. And I, at the last minute, found a replacement, and we decided that we were going to do the open challenge, and somebody did answer the open challenge, and it was one Jeremiah Goldmain. And so now you have Fletch Malone, the vape god, versus the 24-karat lion, Jeremiah Goldmain. And boy, was this a good one as well. This was really good.
Me too.
You know, Fletch plays his character well. You know, you get that he's the vape god, right? Now, I had an interview with him, and he explained the whole story behind how he became the vape god, and I would have liked to seen some of that. You know what I mean? Because it was an open challenge. He kind of did already tell me who he was in his intro, but I would have liked to see more background on that. You know, I don't know why. It's just I don't feel like I know it yet. I don't get the vape thing. Just I don't know. I don't get it. But
No, that's understandable.
Right.
That's understandable.
You know, in the way he explained it in the interview, it was like this out of body experience, right? So I'm like, I want to know, like, that sounds cool. That sounds like a cool story. Tell me that story, you know? And I know he didn't know.
So now, but yeah, now we got to go back to this because this is like if you're going to sit and put yourself in an open challenge, and he agreed to it,
right?
I needed more of that. Like, I get the character build that you wanted to see,
right?
But how did he fare in this video, in this promo?
I really think, as far as this is another close one for me. Like, I see the creativity, I see the context, the emotion. I definitely see the emotion out of him. You know, I felt the emotion myself. You know, like I felt him. Like I felt when he got mad, I felt mad. You know what I mean? So I felt that. But I give it overall. When it comes to the end of it, I wanted to see Jeremiah fight Fletch at the end of the day. I wanted to watch Jeremiah beat Fletch. You know, because I watched his first and then Jeremiah's, and I see, you know, I'm like, I want to see Jeremiah beat you.
So this was actually kind of close for me too. I don't know, from the way it is. I don't. It doesn't seem to have been maybe that close for you, Johnny. But for me, this one was also close, Cody. I agree. I think both of these guys were in an unenviable situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, you know, like you don't know who your opponent is, and so some of the things that, and also I'll get to that. But I'm gonna start with Fletch. I really liked that he mentioned the other situation. He consistently says his brand name over and over again. He reminds you constantly that he is the vape god. He's taking hits as he's going. And like the background, the location, at first I was like, this is a weird location to do a promo. I don't like this. But then I was like, wait a minute. This is exactly where his character would hang out. This is exactly where, like,
exactly.
You know, if you're like a douchey, like, oh yeah, get that out. He showed that he was a hypocrite by slapping the cigarette out of his mouth. Yeah, don't do that. It's very, like, I love that. The intensity was there, and he did change levels, but I thought he started a little hot for how the level change came. I thought that it could have been much more intense because he was very intense at the end. I just thought there should have been a little bit more of a variance there. Something else I felt he could have done was, I almost want to see him make a point and then hit that vape to accentuate that point. Like, that vape is like almost like the period or the punctuation on the ends of his sentences. I'd like to see, maybe. I don't know. That's just, you know, a stylistic. I didn't go either way on that. I just, you know, something I thought of is in my notes. And you did say your name a lot, like a lot, where it's like, it's good, but it did feel a little bit repetitive, and it did at some points feel like filler. Now, I know it's in a really tough position. You don't know who your opponent is. And then with Jeremiah, I mean, he's Jeremiah, right? He's amazing. He's a friend. He's been a rival, and you know, he's very good. He's very good. I'll stop sucking. I'll stop sucking him off right now. But yes, I will. Right. I don't want. We don't want to make his head any bigger.
Yeah.
So right. Don't want
I
to
wonder who you're favoring this tournament. Jesus.
Oh, don't worry. It's not gonna. We haven't gotten to the butt yet. We haven't got to the butt yet. In this situation, he was in a tough spot where he had to basically do his intro video with the promo itself.
Yep.
And I thought he did a good job with that. As far as bringing in, talking about the other competitors, introducing himself, etc. Now, something that has pinged him in the past has been his filler. He sometimes uses filler words when he's thinking or getting into his next point. And he did do this again. I wrote down exactly where it happened. Where am I? He did the "you see, you fools," and he basically said that earlier in that as he was getting ready to make his point. You could have cut the fat off of that a little bit and just gone right into the point, especially in a situation where you're introducing yourself and now you're talking about your opponent, because time is of the essence in that situation. But he always uses a great emotion. Body language is always good, always using levels of intensity. I thought he did a very good job. I did not think this was his best work, but he was also in a time crunch and an enviable situation. So, it is what it is. But this one was very close to me, actually. And, there's a lot to do. Again, maybe something I want to see out of Jeremiah's promos going forward is making them a little bit more crisp, a little bit more clean, cutting away some of that fat, because the strength is the character work, the strength is the presence, the strength is the cadence. And sometimes when that is the case, you can rely on sometimes thinking a little longer than you need to on certain things. And, just little things, little nitpicks. I'm done.
That's why you're the 2021 Indie Idol, right?
There you
Right.
go.
There you go.
There you go. Well, no bias on my end because everybody knows my relationship with Jeremiah, and I would have to say more of his context was there. You're right. Jeremiah had no time, but still addressed everything. I feel Jeremiah is keeping an eye on this whole thing beforehand, even though it wasn't originally in the tournament. He was keeping an eye on it because he knows that, at any moment he can do whatever he wants and try to, make fun of everybody or whatever it might be. But it turned out he just became a fill-in, and that's a good thing. Jeremiah has come up quick in the scene and elevated himself because of the way he can talk. You are right. He does have a lot of filler sometimes, but I also feel that's his shtick, right? We all have those words that we say. I feel like you fools and you guys, and that is his, right? Coming down to creativity, short base time. I feel he should have stayed turned around longer before revealing himself. I feel he should have kept the back of his head. You would have already known it was Jeremiah, but I'm looking at Inspector Gadget style. As soon as I saw that turned around chair, man, I wanted Dr. Claw. I wanted him talking and then turn around eventually for the big reveal, right? Like, that's what I wanted. He jumps the gun a little bit too much sometimes because it's Jeremiah. I'm bigger than the world. I want everybody to see me and be about me. Emotion, I want to see Jeremiah get his face kicked in. Doesn't matter, but that's his character. So I, again, scored pretty decent on both of them. I want Jeremiah to take his time. I think that if he takes his time, he will have a little bit more emotion come out of this for fans, for other people. And I think it'll buy in a little bit more. Fletch. Jeremiah. Also, the vape. Holding that vape and having that little thing in yours too, and doing the blown smoke at the end. Thank you. That's where you actually should have turned around, in my opinion. Turned around, had the vape in your hand, blown it out, finished your promo. Would have been great for the big reveal. I digress. Fletch came in hot. I loved the location. I really did. The context of your promo was great. You mentioned Derek going away, so you put the open challenge out. Your character is there. I feel no one else can do this character. You and Jeremiah have a very similar character where you want it all to be about both of you. You want to be seen. You want to be there. So you both have that. The smoking thing, I think I could have seen a little bit more out of that kid smoking. I am on the other end of AVZ. I feel you didn't use the vape as a gimmick enough. Because one thing was, if you're the vape god, maybe even if you have somebody filming smoke in the background, right? Like a little smoke coming out or whatever. You lost, like the vape went away, right? Like, so it was just you talking. So I feel like that's kind of your shtick, right? Like, you should have that up by your face all the time. Quick little blows, like you said, get a little pop on that, blow some smoke, do whatever you do. That's where I think you lost me, because you say who you are. You gave me that background. You talked about Derek and who your open challenge was. I feel there wasn't enough of the actual vape portion of it that could have played the creativity of yours way more.
For sure.
So I give it to Jeremiah, but barely gave it to Jeremiah.
Yeah, same here. Jeremiah, and by 1 point.
I went Jeremiah. Yep, same thing. 1 point. I went 34 to 33. And also, by the way, I just wanted to address. It wasn't so much that I thought Fletch used it too much. I didn't at all. I just thought he used it like there could have been better spots to use it. And even if that means using it more, I agree. There were moments where I wanted to see him hit it that he didn't. And I was like, oh man, crap. He just made a great point. Like accentuate this point by smoking it, blow it back out, and now go.
Right.
The key to it as well, if he would have taken that hit and blown it in the kid's face as he was running away, that right there would have been like, that would have been it, man. I would have been like, F this kid. I want to punch this kid. Like, let's go.
So opportunities and timing.
Yep.
Opportunity was timing on it. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So moving on to my tie. This is my tie. Josh Harper versus Mongo. Oh man, this was really hard for me because and I know you, like you said, you're not gonna be easy on Josh, and you said that. But in my opinion, for somebody that's not trained to do this shit, he did a hell of a job, man. And that's just that's me being the friend, right? But at the same time, both these guys, I feel like it was kind of like a real equal thing, in my opinion. ABZ?
Okay, so I'll start with Josh. I thought it was a good use of the ball. When he uses the ball,
it was fun.
Good understanding of Mongo's.
Yeah,
it was.
He popped me. He popped me huge. I'm not gonna lie. He popped me. I rewound it and had to rewatch. He popped me.
I did. I popped for that one. And you did. I think you did a really good job of a good vernacular use. Right. He used his vocab well. I thought that he spoke with confidence. But my problem with this was that he created moments, but he stepped on his moments. So he didn't let moments sit. He didn't wait. So he knew when the beat was supposed to come, but then didn't. He went too quick into the next thing rather than letting it sit. Now you can let something sit too long, and that's kind of what's tricky sometimes with doing these on a phone or like doing a match dark or whatever. When you have the crowd there, sometimes it's easier to know exactly like, okay, the crowd is rising, stay on this, and they're here. You don't want to step on your own pop, wait till they start to die a little and talk again. You don't have those cues necessarily here. You kind of have to like wait for the beats, and it comes to the cadence that you're using. And sometimes if you're speaking very fast, you can use a smaller pause, boom, and it accentuates what you're saying. But in this case, I just felt like the pauses weren't quite as long as they should have been on the points that you made, because you made really good punchlines. You used very good, like the content was pretty good. I really liked it. With Mongo, oh, by the way, one more thing on Harper. I really liked how you talked about how you were going to win. That was super good because everyone is like, okay, yeah, you step in the ring with Mongo, you're going to die. Everyone knows you are going to die. Like most wrestlers are going to die if they get in the ring with Mongo. You especially, Ice Cream Man, no chance. But the ball, the 10 count, very creative. I thought that was smart. Mongo, like, I liked the idea that he's pissed that like he has to face the Ice Cream Man, because like, of course, he should have that. He should be pissed. I thought that he was and there's nothing wrong with swearing. I just thought that you could have used like, if you were going to do it, make it mean something. And I felt like he just kind of threw away shit and fuck pretty early in this early in the promo. I didn't like the location necessarily as much. That kind of hurt me a lot. It felt like it was definitely a Mongo promo. It definitely was. Like, he definitely brought up like the merch thing. Mongo knows his character inside and out. Of course he does. The intensity was good. But because he starts out angry, the intensity kind of just stays at like where it was.
I'm not a big fan of intergender style matches for the most
part,
because if I put these two in there together, and I understand it's 2022, the second Road Rash gets his hands on her, he's gonna whoop her ass, right? Like, I know that. So that's where I kind of lost it there. But that's me. That's my own personal decision on it. But I loved what she said. She's like, all I have to do is outlast you, right? She is resilient. She did say that. She continuously goes back to her character and she lives up to that character. Her creativity was a little lackluster because of the fact that she was just sitting in a bedroom. That she really lost me, and this is where that one point came into play. There was a noise in the background that distracted her, and I feel it threw her off. And then the video ended. I don't know if anybody else caught it, but it was like somebody like coughed, or it was like somebody bumped something, whatever it was. You can see her get a little distracted by it, and it threw her off on the delivery of the end of her promo before saying the bet on blue thing and just putting that up. And I feel that's really what lost it for me. She did great. I'm really proud of her for jumping in there and going against, especially Road Rash, she's been in the ring with and trained with and everything. I actually believe that she might have a chance if she ran around this guy in circles. You know what I'm saying? But when it really came down to it, is that end point, that bump or whatever that sound was, put it off, and he took it from me.
AVZ.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little distracted over the last couple of minutes. I did hear everything you had to say. Yes. Johnny, I did notice that she got thrown off by that sound a little bit. That did impact it for me a little bit. Location, it could have been better, but it is what it is. She's so smooth. She's very, for how long she's been doing it, Heather Blue is very smooth with the way she says things. She's very confident in what she's saying as well. That's pretty cool. Especially considering she is very new to this, and she is facing her mentor in this situation. She's facing her trainer. And I thought that it was very well thought out how she planned to win the match. That was huge for me. Taking him into the deep water and use it like the side, all of that, size against him, et cetera, I'll outlast you. That was amazing. Like I wish more people would do that, to be totally honest with you, especially ones that are underdogs, because it's like, okay, you're up against this mountain of a man, so to speak. Like how are you going to beat this person? How can you possibly do it? Explain that to me. And she did that very well. One thing, I didn't feel like she told me who Heather Blue was as much as far as like character wise. I'm not sure if the character really seeped into that yet, but that's something that I think will come over time. Like, maybe just understanding, I'm sure at this point she doesn't know what the character Heather Blue themselves did on their second birthday. You know what I mean?
Right.
Quite yet, but it was pretty good. But Road Rash, I think there's a reason he made it to the finals last year. It's his intensity. He's so intense. His location, where he shoots, how it's constantly like, that's where someone where like the cuts, I think, help him. I think they help his style and what he's trying to do, the constant cutting around. It's like almost like blipping in and out. He's someone who I don't feel like when he's in character that he's playing a character. That intensity is like raw. It feels like it's not eloquent. It's not pretty. It's not, verbose, but it doesn't have to be. It's gritty. It's, I am going to kill you now, and this is how I'm going to do it. And here are the toys that I used to do it. This is my kill shack. It's like, I just feel like if I go into like his garage, I'm going to open up a tool chest and just find arms in there or something like that.
There's going to be a freezer with body parts. There
definitely just is. And he's like, what do you want some? But I think that Heather's going to grow so much throughout this competition. And just like from this baseline, it's actually just kind of crazy to see like what she's going to be doing down the line. But if we're going to get to, scores and whatnot, I did give this one to the vet, her trainer. It was a little bit paint by numbers to me, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Road Rash, that's the same intensity and same promo style that brought him to the dance last time. And had I not seen either of these two before, I'd be like, well, it has to go to Road Rash, right? So it was 35-31 for me, Road Rash.
I'll also throw in there too with Heather. I got some very Talladega Nights, I don't know what to do with my hands type things at some point. Yep. So I
agree.
Utilize it, right? Jeremiah talks with his hands, other people do. Utilize your hands. You did at some points, you started throwing them out and everything, but there were points where it was just your hands stood there and did nothing. So.
And so,
all right. So
what was your score?
I think we're good with that one, right? No, mine was 2019.
To
Road Rash took it.
Okay, so Road Rash takes the win. All right, so I'll just review real quick so everybody knows. We have Davison over Tony. We have Solomon over Billy Ray. We have TJ Meyer over Josh Morris. We have Mark Ross over Forever Young. We have Jeremiah Goldmain over Fletch Malone. We have Josh Harper getting his first win against Mongo. We have Jamie Eternal over Alex Steele. And we have Road Rash over Heather Blue. So I will get all that together and everybody will know who they're facing very, very soon.
Can I just want to put this out there. If y'all want to do a consolation video, can we have one matchup between Alex Steele and Princeton Forever Young? Please. Like, I want to see those two as a consolation. Like, please give me something that after all of this that we talked to, anybody else can do it as well. But like, I want to see what those two can do with each other. And I think that would probably be some of the funniest promo battles I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I mean, that might just happen. There's a lot of competition left. So
right, for sure. There still is. Okay.
Also, I mean, like, I do want to say before like we get out of here, like congrats to everyone who just like did this, right? I mean, like It's really hard to put yourself out there and to do something like this, whether it's for recognition or whatever, and to be able to take critiques and whatnot. And again, promos are art and art is subjective. So, choose to take all of our critiques with a grain of salt.
Yeah, please don't take this seriously. Don't take this personal. I mean, take it seriously. Don't take it personal.
Right.
We are not. I'm not here to shit on you guys. Right. Again, I'm close friends with many of you. Like, do not take this personal. This is just for what it is. Right. We want everybody to be better, and I'm not the best. I'm not. So I want to see this happen. And I'm
definitely loaded myself. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Like, I was very impressed. For the most part,
for the first round, absolutely. It was very hard to judge the first round because there's not a lot of info to go off in this first round. Now they're going to have a little more time to do a little more research, and hopefully they do. They do more research, find out about their opponent. They do talk about actually a match. There is a match, and give me info on that match and what you're going to do. Right, make us interested. So for sure. Go ahead.
Final thought is that the people who took the L here, this is not elimination. So if you did take the L, I want to see you come out guns blazing on this next one. It doesn't mean you're out at all. You can win the whole thing with one L. You can win the whole thing with two L's. You don't even know. So if you took that L, take that personally. I want to see you come out twice as hard on this next one.
Absolutely.
So let's see it.
This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage.